Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Mayday Roleplay. I am your storyteller, Caleb Miller, and today you are joining me for the first of our origin sessions of our Vampire the Masquerade playthrough, Vegas by Night. Today, we're going to sit down with Sergio. Sergio, thank you for being here. Go and say hello to everybody at home.
Hello, everybody at home. Happy to be here.
Oh, beautiful. The millions, the masses at home tuning in for our meeting. This time around, we're going to take a look at who Sergio's playing for the game. We're going to have a quick little run through of a day in his life and an origin to what truly makes this kindred tick in an effort to get people excited for what we're doing over at Vegas by Night, to give some insight into who this person is. So, without further ado, I think we got to get people hyped, right? We got to learn how to play the game. We got to feel this thing.
Exactly.
Without further ado, you feel ready?
I'm ready, buddy. Let's dive in.
This feels bizarre, by the way. This is like opposite of Starforged, and I don't know. It's an interesting.
On the screens, we're literally flipped too. Yeah. You're in the storyteller seat.
Exactly. Okay. Good evening, John. It's a Tuesday at 10 p.m. in Las Vegas, Nevada. The desert of Nevada. The meadows of Nevada, as they're translated into English. You have been here for some time, an indiscriminate amount of time we'll leave for our viewers. But today is a turning point. Today, you are standing on the steps leading up to the Arcade Hotel and Casino, the most important new foray into the Strip's huge commerce space. You've only been here twice before, and even then it was cursory. But tonight, John, you've got a ticket to the big show. Things are looking up. A letter was left for you at your hideout here in Vegas, with sprawling gold letterhead addressed to you, John Burroughs. All it read was, "Come see me sometime, Mr. Grant." You know that sometime means tonight. And from the stories, this is the place he's expecting you at. So here, standing on the stone steps leading up to the Arcade Hotel and Casino, could you tell us just a little bit about how John looks, how Burroughs holds himself, how Burroughs is feeling today? What does this kindred look like?
John Burroughs is standing there in front of the, you said it's a hotel or a casino or both?
Hotel and casino.
Okay.
So it's a split level.
Yeah, he's kind of lit by the fluorescent lighting and stuff. John is a 6-foot man, and looks to be about 50 pounds overweight for his height. He looks to be about late 30s, early 40s. It's a little hard to tell because of the weight gain. And his hair and his beard are rather unkempt. Somewhat like me, a kind of typical beard. Hair short and kind of a little spiky, but more unkempt than spiky. And it's a kind of a dirty blonde, almost dirty brown, almost light blonde hair, with a lot of gray in it, a lot of specks of gray. And he wears a red Hawaiian shirt. He has on these prayer beads around his neck that kind of stand out for some random white guy wearing these prayer beads. And he's got on some shorts because it's Vegas and it's hot.
Yeah.
And he is wearing sandals, probably. And he is finishing a sandwich. He's been, kind of munching on something, and he's got the letter in the other hand that he's holding down. He's got the sandwich up. And there's just this energy from him that he just doesn't give a fuck. And it's not that he doesn't care about things, but there's just this vibe about him, like nothing can faze him, nothing could surprise him. he just carries himself with a kind of confidence that requires a lot of experience, a lot of time and age and wisdom and experience. But he takes a final bite of the sandwich, probably throws it in a trash, gives his hair one kind of comb just to kind of clean it up a little bit, and then goes inside.
Yeah, and there is this air about you that feels uniquely Vegas. There is that feeling of not giving a shit, of having no true concept of what's going on around you outside of what you're looking for. Feels locally Vegas. And John has sort of been here long enough to soak up that ray of personality there. It's so much so that it's hard to see how much of that was Vegas's influence and how much John just emanates that feeling for everyone else. I like to imagine that many tourists are giving you second looks, wondering if you're, are you drunk? Are you homeless?
Yeah.
Are you local? You never know in Vegas, and you're that never know. Everyone is looking at this man who's blindly eating the public sandwich and holding the letter aloft, and you know the Hawaiian shirt down to the chest with those big bodacious prayer beads. Are we talking like those large, like full-on prayer beads, or
like imagine
smaller?
Like Buddhist prayer beads that are, it's a relatively long necklace and it ends like in a little red tassel, you know, and there's just like, you know, countless beads, maybe a couple dozen or something, in which he does, you know, on the occasion grab and run through his fingers and stuff. But yeah, he's kind of like the modern, or he carries himself like a modern millionaire where they dress like hobos but they have tons of money, that kind of thing, that kind of vibe.
Exactly. I don't have to care because I'm so successful.
Sure.
Right? So you step into the arcade hotel, and obviously the building from the outside is incredibly impressive. It is named specifically for the type of structure, a arched out building that extends out in this huge rectangle that dominates the southern half of the strip there. It's brand new. It was just put in a few years ago, and it's still being built to this day. There are wings that are shut off to the rest of guests, and largely the premier suites and the casino itself are the only accessible points. But the building is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. A love letter to old Art Deco structures and this huge arch that goes on forever and sticks out of the Vegas skyline like a sore tooth, right?
I think that Burroughs, you know, starts walking through and is admiring all the new stuff that is in, yet it has a retro vibe, which is kind of ironic. But he'll probably go up to where he knows the management is, or where, you know, someone who looks like they're in charge is, and he'll probably just hand them the letter.
Right. You walk in and you scoot past doormen and ushers who are all dressed in these same sort of crushed velvet royal blue uniforms that are topped off with these very intricate hats that you didn't expect for a uniform in Vegas, that are almost made of like sheep's fur, and pointed out to these diagonals, and they give you looks like, oh God, another drunk has wandered into the arcade hotel. It's very clear that their interpretation of you is not a he's come to spend money point of view.
I think that Burroughs would walk up to the guy with the crushed blue velvet, kind of hand him the letter and just say blue velvet, and just hand it to him. A smile.
Thank you very much, sir. That's beautiful. Thank you. You could tell he's trying to be overly polite in the face of this, not fully understanding whether you're Vegas or an actual customer, right? He takes the letter very nervously, but immediately recognizes the script on the front and the letterhead itself. He opens it up and he says, oh, I'm so sorry. Excuse any interruption. Sir, is there anything I can get you while we prepare everything for you? Is there anything we can do to accommodate you?
You guys got good fries here? French fries.
Sure, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I'll take a plate of that while I'm waiting.
Sure. He catches one of the doormen. He goes, please, palm frites for the gentleman. And he goes marching off into the casino area, pass through, and you can hear the raucous sounds of this music that's trying to blare out the sound of slot machines. It's sort of like it's lit like a VIP club in here. It's very low on lighting, but gilded in gold everywhere, and this white marble. It's very it's classy, but not in a way that says gauche. It's not like Caesar's where people think it's classy. It's actually trying to be, and it uniquely uses some cultures that John, being who he is, probably recognizes some Asian influence, some Eastern European, some African influence all across their architecture and everything. So he sits you down. He does warn you that it's going to be a long wait, and he's not wrong. Within an hour to kill here, John has brought some fries. Is there anything else that John does to kill the time in between actually being answered for this call?
He probably starts flirting with the girl that brings him the palm frites, joking, oh, is that French? And starts to, trying to talk to her in broken French and stuff. And honestly, if it's going to be an hour, he probably gets up and starts wandering the general vicinity. If there are folks who are working at craps tables and stuff, he'll probably throw a buck down and more for the conversation than anything else. And by the time that hour is up, there's probably 2 or 3 people like, all right, John, we'll see you later, John, that kind of thing.
Yes, you immediately make an impression at the table, and in fact, you start encouraging everyone to keep betting with you, and by the end of your hour, the table is just about doubled the amount of money they've lost on this game. So the house is probably so very happy with John at this point. And walking back, you do catch the eye of that same waitress who brought you the fries, and she waves.
As I walk past her, I'll literally walk up to her, give her a kiss on the lips.
As you do that, she looks absolutely shocked, just gobsmacked. As you pull away, she's looking at you. Go ahead and roll. Let's take a look here.
I will say that my character has a under the presence discipline lingering kiss.
Okay.
It says here the vampire can gain bonuses to their social pools against targets that they have kissed. I haven't kissed her yet. The vampire can choose to use this power during each feeding, etc. So just should I succeed, I'll probably use that on her.
I love that. Give me a persuasion plus, let's call this charisma, because I think John
charisma,
is total charisma here.
Persuasion, definitely things that I do, that I know, that I am confident about. So let's see, that's a 3 and 2 total. So that's 5 dice. Let's see how we do.
5 pool. Anything 6 or above will earn you a success.
2 successes with an 8 and a 7.
Beautiful. That is more than enough to woo some girl off a casino trail, right? She looks at you, and she looks at you the way someone might look at like their crazy uncle or someone who is a part of the family at the cookout who just got a little too drunk, and she kind of waves you off. She says, "Aren't you the sweetest little thing? Oh my God. Thank you. And she looks smitten in a way that says, please never do that again, but we'll let you get off on that the first time, right? And in that instant, as you're looking at this auburn-haired, beautiful woman, 23 years old, working her way through Vegas, you imagine in your head the trials and tribulations she's trying to put herself through just to keep the lifestyle of a place like this. And when you meet her eyes the second time, and she's telling you you're so sweet, there's something that broils in you. It's something you've become akin to ever since you turned into what you are. There is a flash fire in your body, like heat emanating throughout your veins, like waves crashing over you, waves of heat, of flame, of fire. There is that voice creeping through your heart again. You could kill her right here. Take her blood, drain her dry. She could be yours. You're familiar with that voice. It's spoken to you before. How does John deal that voice as it drums up in his old, aging body?
John has experienced a variance of this when he was alive. He knows how to woo a woman, or at least the women that he could woo when he was alive, and he knows that rush of flirting with someone, of the risk and the reward, that kind of feeling, and that feeling of sexual energy kind of rising up inside of you when you make a connection like that. And even though she's giving me the uncle vibe, I know that my kiss has even more of an effect than it did when I was alive. As a vampire, I have this lingering kiss discipline, and I know that she's mine in a way that she doesn't even understand. The next time I see her, the next time I need something from her, she will be affected by me in a way that she just doesn't understand. And that is part of the rush, knowing that I have that.
Right.
But as soon as that image of me kind of biting down on her neck comes to mind, Burroughs recoils a little bit at that. He doesn't want that. He wants the other stuff, but he doesn't want to hurt her. And so he looks at her name tag. Does she have a name tag?
Yeah, her name is Annie.
He looks at Annie, and he smiles, and he says, "I'll see you around, Annie." And he just walks past her faster than maybe he would before, only because that image, he can't get it out of his mind, and he doesn't like it.
The fire starts to fade, at least for a moment, as you quell back the beast, that fast-talking devil that lives inside you. And you can see the lingering sight of Annie connecting with your eyes, John, as she is wondering just what happened there. For a moment, she was yours and she was watching, and then this interesting, bizarre man walks out of her life and out of that room. And you can feel her gaze as you're walking away, like her eyes on the back of you. And just as you're embroiled in all of this thought, the receptionist turns the corner again and is standing directly in front of you. He looks nervous. He looks wide-eyed. He looks like he's never really ran into this situation, if you were intuiting anything. He looks directly at you. He says, "He's ready for you. Follow me."
He, I get stopped by him, and I see that he's kind of sweating and a little nervous, and I just kind of, brush his shoulders and kind of pat him on the arm and said, "Lead the way."
Sure. He walks you back through the hall and down this big expanse. Imagine this arcade, this arch goes on forever. And the whole building is built out of this with this main walkway. The casino off to your right, the elevators for the main rooms off to your left. But at the very end of this arch, at the very end of this thoroughfare, is this single elevator behind red rope with long crushed royal blue velvet rugs leading up to the elevator itself, and a single gold button on the side. Above it, it reads penthouse. He walks you through, and you're walking past basically 6 leagues of armed guards. They don't advertise that they're armed, obviously, but a keen eye can easily guess that those jackets are not meant for formal occasions. They're meant for hiding the 9mm at your side.
Sure.
But walking through, you can feel their eyes on you. You can feel them watching you. And there's a preternatural sense. They can always say that 2 predators can recognize each other in the wild. You can feel in them a kinship to you.
I will, walk past, but I have experience with security and know that they're people too, and know that they have their opinions of people, and I'll just kind of probably give a couple of folks a nod, a wink. Be friendly. No need to be standoffish.
Understood. Yeah, they respond as security usually does on duty, and they give you these cold glances, but it doesn't seem unwelcoming. You're obviously you're obviously important enough to earn the elevator, so they give you an eyebrow look as you tell them to keep working, and the receptionist hits the button for you and stands still. The doors open, and the elevator is yours. You step in. It's well and truly lonely in there, and the doors shut behind you. You recognize that no one's checked yourself for guns, no one's checked for weapons, no one's checked for much of anything. You've been let through. Letter still in your hand, returned to you by the receptionist as it starts to glide up.
I think
floor.
as it glides up, just to combat the nervous energy of whoever the hell I'm about to go meet. What did you say their name was, by the way?
Grant.
Grant.
Which John would know if you would like to know, obviously.
I would like to know. I'll just paint the picture by saying that he's going up the elevator, kind of singing to himself more than anything. Rise and shine and give God the glory, glory rise. Just kind of singing a gospel hymn to himself.
Right. That hymn fits in nicely. There is some very don't think smooth jazz, think performance jazz playing in this elevator. It's a huge sort of concerto of all these musicians filling in on top of each other, and John's voice, as nice as it is, really complements the feeling. And in fact, John intuits into how to place the God's words into those little pockets and create some jazz himself. As you start to glide up, and it feels like forever. But you have an awareness that you're about to meet the new management. You're about to meet the new Prince of Las Vegas. Aloysius Grant has just recently, within the last year, taken full ownership of the Camarilla within Las Vegas. Now, officially, outward facing, there is no Prince of Las Vegas. He died. Arthur Cost lost his life in 2019, and the city has been sprawling ever since, trying to fill the power vacuum that was left when our former prince was decapitated on Las Vegas Boulevard in front of millions, in front of the whole world. And things have just sort of spiraled since then. And your situation has become no less restrictive under that hold, but everyone has been in a sort of waiting pattern, holding pattern, trying to see what comes next.
Now you've got me intrigued as a player. How did they spin someone getting beheaded on the Las Vegas Strip?
So there was a lot of discussion, and Las Vegas has a very easy get out, and it's something Los Angeles uses a lot as well. And it was linked back to gang murder in the side of the street, and it just so happened that the victim was heavily connected to several crime rings within Las Vegas. Looking deeply into Arthur Cost's background, it was found out that he had a lot going on with different criminal syndicates throughout Nevada and all of the West Coast, and obviously this was a gang hit. Who else would send a message other than to decapitate?
Makes sense too. The cartels do a lot of that decapitation as well.
Now, the curious thing is that after this decapitation, the police found no remains, or at least there was no body reported to any news reports, news outlets. Yes. Funny thing about that, don't know how that happened.
Yeah, weird.
So, your elevator comes to a stop at the top of the Arcade Hotel and Casino, and you can feel the top. It's that nauseating understanding that you are 80 floors above ground level. You're looking out on all of Nevada, and as you pull out of the elevator doors as they ring open, you're out into a penthouse floor apartment. Absolutely gorgeous. Sprawled in that same gold trim, carpets and furs, and soft as far as the eye can see. A built-in bar off the left-hand side of the penthouse. 2 rooms off of that, and then 3 off the right-hand side. On the far end, behind this massive desk in the center of the room, just before the windows, is a perfect view of Las Vegas, pointed directly at the Strip. You can see every other casino and the full view of paradise from this point in the penthouse. Your obviously first view of living or unliving persons are 2 guards at the front of the elevator wielding submachine guns, not at the hands but at the chest, ready for anything that goes wrong. And there are 3 more very peculiar, maybe somewhat familiar, at least in hearsay rather than vision, but you see 3 very important individuals. One of them, a black man, very tall, 6'2", with a large fur-lined coat, perfect brown fur that's been spruced up over a 3-piece suit, buttoned meticulously, all black, with a white shirt underneath and a matching black and white pinstripe tie that runs down the center. beautiful tie clip with a rose straight through it, and just immaculately dressed. Beautiful individual with this a trimmed, neat beard, a scar that runs under his right cheek and across. Maybe the only blemish on his skin. He's absolutely radiant in this lighting. These powerful golden chandeliers above him cast this beautiful light down on him. And you can already feel that familiar charm that you give off in everything you do, John. Sometimes players can recognize a player. And in this room, you definitely feel as though you two have this animalistic charm about you that is undeniable to anyone that sees you. In the same way the tourists could not take their eyes off you, you, being the undead creature that you are, still feel a pull to looking at this man and the sparkle of his amber eyes behind his lids. You can tell, even before you've stepped out of the elevator, that he's sizing you up. Behind him, flanked in a large green duffel coat and these tight sort of like hiking regalia almost under, is a bald individual. They're very beautiful, androgynous in feature, but with this immaculate makeup that she's applied and these black dashes that surround her eyes and then stretch down in triangles along her face. These black painted lips. They're wielding a large, massive German executioner sword on their back that ends in the beveled off tip so that it cannot actually stab. It's just meant for chopping.
Cleaver.
Yes. And then the final individual is a waspy, red-headed, very Greek looking individual who is standing off the side by the bar with a drink in his hand, a suit and vest combination with his arms cuffed at the elbows, and he holds himself in such a way that he feels constricted, like he's under high pressure. He's standing as if controlled inside of himself, and hiding his face under his hands as he's watching you from afar. The two do not speak, neither do the bodyguards. And as the elevators open, all that can be heard is that same performative jazz playing in through the penthouse. Only now it feels live, as if maybe there's a pianist in another room. And you're left with the sort of silence as you empty out into the room. It is painfully quiet in this room outside of the music. And you can tell that these three individuals are analyzing every inch of who this Hawaiian shirt is.
I can assume the big guy with the presence is Aloysius Grant.
That is Aloysius Grant, the Prince of Las Vegas.
I think Burroughs recognizes the awkwardness, but hears the music and has a long way to walk to meet up with Grant on the other side of the thing. I think eventually he starts kind of like doing a little tap dance, a little kind of responding to the jazz,
right?
Just to see if he can get anybody in the room to move or react at all. Just a kind of a friendly shuffle towards them.
You already, as soon as it begins, it breaks something in Aloysius' study of you. He grins. It's this big sort of one-sided grin that fills his face, and he flashes these beautiful white pearly teeth. And he starts to laugh along with you, and he claps to it. You can tell that the bald person behind them, with the sword at their back, they're smirking as well. In their smirk, it feels almost challenging. Like,
sure.
What the fuck is this guy doing?
Sure.
But Grant seems genuinely amused by this entrance. He says, "Oh, John, I knew you had to make an entrance, didn't you?"
Mr. Grant, and I'll extend a hand to shake his.
He steps up. He steps away from his desk. He comes out to you. He says, "When you're in my house, you'll address me as Prince. It's good to meet you, John. Kneel, kiss the ring." And he puts out his hand, and there's this large sigil ring with a rose emblazoned into the gold. And he sets it out in front of him. He's cordial. He's polite. In fact, he almost says it in a jest when he suggests you call him Prince. But he denies that handshake and definitely puts it out for you.
Burroughs immediately like scolds himself in his head, like, fuck, of course that's what you do when you meet the prince. You don't shake his hand. You know, he's reminded that there's a lot of new things in the world that he's still getting a grasp on. And it inside, it really bothers him that he has to do this, but he like pushes through. He gets on his knee and he looks at that ring before he gives it a kiss, and then he'll stand up. And
As soon as you get your body to lean in and touch those lips to that ring, you can hear him again in that pit of your heart. It's like a disease that sits there in that undead vessel that doesn't even beat anymore, so why should it speak? But he speaks again. Why should we ever kneel for someone like him? We're the king of the fucking world. And you have to fight off that just to get the kiss to the ring. And Prince looks absolutely elated that you did. He says, "Oh, get up. That's enough." Very good, John.
I'll probably stand up and just say, "You got a beautiful place, man." You know, directing my gaze to some of the things, but I'll come to his coat and I'll point out the fur and I'll say, "Mink."
Could say something like that. Not exactly, but that's close enough. I'm glad you like the place, John. Are you enjoying yourself here at the arcade?
You've all been real nice to me, so yeah, sure, I'm enjoying myself just fine.
Good.
Anything I can do to be of service.
Oh, that's good. Did you enjoy your fries?
Oh, they tell you about that kind of thing? I didn't
Yeah.
think you worried about that.
Oh, no, you're a man of taste. We have to make sure you're abided by.
A little too much garlic, but I liked it.
He looks at the bald person and then to the redhead over by the bar, and they all sort of share a laugh. A little too much garlic. John, you always have a sense of personality, or at least that's what I've heard. I've been let in a lot in your story in my new installation as Prince. I've been made to know your trials and tribulations, what you've been through, everything that you've seen, everything that you've lost. And I just want you to know that I'm sympathetic to your cause, John.
Well, I appreciate it, man. It's been a long time coming, to be honest with you. I've been in the shadows for a while. The Camarello didn't even let me out until recently. It's nice to know I got a prince who's willing to give me a chance.
Well, John, I want you to know that this wasn't the Camarillas doing. This was the cost doing. This was former management making a decision that no one agreed with. And now he has no position to defend that agreement. So don't go blaming the organization for the man at the top's decision. Some of us make bad decisions. You were one of our bad decisions. But we're looking to rectify. This world here, and he stops and he points out to the view of Vegas out there. It's a beautiful thing. A lot of intricate, moving pieces. And when something like what happens to Arthur Cost happens, well, the world changes. And after a period of change, it's up to us to wait till the dirt settles and then build bricks from those dirt. Build buildings. Build a new world order in our image. In an image that does better than the last. Don't you agree?
More than you know, man. That actually really speaks to me.
Oh, good. I'm glad we're speaking to each other then. John, I'm going to give you a chance. I believe that you're worthy of one. And I feel like we've kept you in the wings a little too long.
Well, like I said, anything you need, I'm here for you.
As of today, your conservatorship, as we like to call it, is over. We will no longer be looking after you. We will no longer be keeping you in the dark. John, Vegas is yours again. We're going to release your financials. We're going to open the gates, and you have no responsibilities outside of a few I'm going to outline for yourself.
I just got one request. I call you Prince. You call me Burroughs.
Sure. I can honor a request, can't I? He takes a look again at those two guests. Burroughs. Burroughs, this is a new leaf for you. New world. And there are only two things I ask of you. The first, while you're in my city, officially, now, you are a new person. I will treat you as though I treat anyone that comes in off the street looking to suck a few necks and act as though they own my city. If you make a decision that goes against what we have set up as this little paradise, then things will be done to rectify your mistakes. Same as anybody else. You follow the traditions that we've set afoot here in the Camarilla, and you abide by the masquerade, and I will see to it that you are not harmed, moved, shut away ever again.
Sounds like a good deal. Sounds like a deal the Lord made with Abraham or something. Biblical, that's what I mean.
You a religious man?
Not so much in the past, but recently I'm reconsidering things, yeah.
It's an interesting monster that finds God after death.
Well, sometimes what you're looking for is forgiveness. And I believe the Lord's the only one that can give it.
I think Cain went looking for forgiveness, too. And, well, he became us. I think you go looking for it too long and you end up living forever. Some things you just have to admit you had to do. But that's conjecture. I could do that all day, and frankly, I don't know that we've earned that yet. Let me detail what else I need from you. I have a job for you, Mr. Burroughs.
Good. Well, what is it?
It's to be at my beck and call. If I call on you, and we give you credence to perform a mission for us, then you do so. And now is the first of those times. If you complete this for us, then my deal stands. You can be as free as you like in this city.
Am I working alone, or am I part of a team?
You're a part of an experiment, if I were to call it anything. It is a mistake, if I were to call it the least. Listen, we are in dire straits. The situation is this. We have entered into an uneasy truce that none of us plan on abiding to for very long, meaning that we may need to make fast action if we are to gain anything from this position. The Anarchs on the east side of town have brought themselves into a situation where one of their barons has gone loose in our domain. We picked him up for committing crimes that go directly against our traditions and ruin our position within the Camarilla, and have kept him hostage to make him pay for his crimes. And because of this, we have something very important in a political situation, in a game of chess, and that is a chip. Not just a betting chip, but a bargaining chip. We have something they want, their person back. We have something we want. There is a item of particular interest to the Camarilla that is far from my purview, considering the level of attention on Las Vegas currently. Now, all of this is to say that this is where you come in. With the Anarchs needing their person back from our hostage, and with myself needing that item as fast as I can, we are in a position to assist each other, the Anarchs and the Camarilla. But to do so, we need a third party to go about the exchange. Would you like to
come in?
Yes. Very astute, Burroughs.
So I'm making a trade for you. That's it.
Yes, you are going to take a team, an untested team, a team of fledglings who have not been given the opportunity to join or apply to any sect. They have no position in the Ivory Tower, nor in the anarchs of the free nation of Las Vegas. And so, you can be trusted, at least to die trying. If you go to this location in Denver, Colorado, and pick up the item of interest, bring it back to me and my people, alive, with no information leaking to my anarch rivals, then you will be given a place in paradise, in the meadows of Nevada. I will set you up in the Camarilla, make you a fully fledged member if that's something you desire, or I will leave you alone for the rest of your unlife until the day you meet God.
It's mighty kind of you. I appreciate it. Absolutely. I'll do whatever I can to help you get this thing back. When do I begin?
In 2 weeks' time. We're still putting together a team of which you will be unofficially in charge of.
Unofficially, as in they don't know, or unofficially as in they know but nobody else knows?
They don't know. You are to be my arm in this race.
I see. Well, I'm not much of a liar, but I'll do my best.
Oh, come on, Burroughs. I'm sure you can put on a pretty face and tell somebody something they want to hear.
I suppose I can, yeah.
You'll be the driver as well.
All right.
I assume that given your clan blood, you have some awareness of routing and mapping out the Nevada desert, or at least access to the Vardo maps. If not, those will be provided for you, and you'll be given a mapped out route to Denver with suitable locations for bedding down for the night and alternate routes.
I'll be good. I've done a lot of touring in this part of the country, so I know my way around.
I see. Well, it's beneficial that our team will have you then. When you arrive, you'll speak with the representative, give him our word on my behalf, receive the briefcase, and whatever imports have been arranged for the Anarch team, and then bring yourself back to Las Vegas in one piece. The straightforward approach of this mission is that the Anarchs have already provided to distract Border Patrol teams. Second Inquisition parties have been masquerading as them for months now in search of us. So the Anarchs will provide proper distraction to keep your team safe on the way to and from.
Sounds like a hell of a time.
It does. I'm not saying it won't be dangerous. It will be. There's a chance you'll lose your life, but that's why you're being sent and no one else. I couldn't spare anyone. Not anyone important, at least.
Well, if you know my story, you know I got wartime experience, so I think I'll be all right.
Yes, I assume you'll do well. I believe that's everything I have for you, Burroughs. I am of the belief that I am handing you an olive branch unprecedented by any prince before me. I shudder to think of a situation more beneficial to yourself, and I hope you understand who gave you this opportunity.
Burroughs kind of stands, or breaks the talk and just says, "I recognize it, Prince, and I'm going to do my best. I look forward to impressing you and coming onto the team full time. I'll do you proud."
I see. Well, it is an odd moment that the master spares the rod. But if it's anything that I have learned from personal experience, the second that he does, you remove it entirely. So take this. Make something of it, Burroughs. Something they didn't let you in that hole.
I will.
Perfect. Well, in that case, you have a full run of the arcade. If you'd like to stay for the night, I can post you up. Or if you prefer to go back to your dredges, that's understandable.
Actually, I haven't stayed here before, so I would appreciate a night.
I'm sure you would. I'm sure you would. We are going to set you up. You'll have one of the penthouses for the night if you'd like. You'll have full run of the casino. Just please be nice to my waitstaff.
I hope my reputation precedes me. I'm a real nice guy.
Oh, do you hear that, Cisco? And he looks back at the bald person there with the sword. And they regard you with a cold, steely look. He's a nice guy. He's going to take good care of you here.
I think I'll point to the bald guy and just say, I'll point to the sword and be like, Japanese?
They sort of adopt a shoulder roll there to seem a little more imposing. They're about 5 feet tall, maybe, very, very short. The sword is probably as big as they are. And they go, no, not exactly. You should... Good.
I knew it was one of those two.
That's
all
a good
guys.
eye.
Well, I'll see y'all later.
Perfect. It was good to see you again, Burroughs. He comes up and he gives out the ring again. I hope I see you soon.
I'll probably, bow, give the ring a kiss, and as I walk backwards, I just start singing some kind of hymn about how God is good, God gives blessings, and just kind of make my way out of the place.
Yeah, the last thing he leaves you with is just that repeated sentence. It's a strange monster that finds God after death. And the doors of that elevator shut, and there's that big, deep breath of, oh my God, at long last, that man has stopped talking.
Yeah, I think as I'm descending, that song, which was like a friendly kind of whisper of how God is good, Burroughs starts singing it like at the top of his lungs. Finally revealing how powerful of a voice he has for himself, just to like comfort himself in this moment of holy shit, I just met the prince, and I'm powerful too, and I sing out, and then right before I get to that first level, I quiet down again.
Yeah, there is a shudder of the lights for just a brief second, and your mind chalks it up to the construction that's going on in this building. But that shudder of that light gives you this brief reflection of yourself in the mirrored texture of the elevator in front of you. And you're sitting there songbirding out in this powerful display, this rush of adrenaline as the song finds you and God fills this elevator. And you can see yourself sort of multiplied in the reflection, and it dances out as the doors open right in there, ding, as you fall back into the lobby. And it's a mess of people out here. You're probably 11:30 at night at this point, and the masses are in full force looking out to spend every last dollar in the casino here. It is a buzz of laughter, of sound, of movement, and you can't help but think of how they have no idea what just happened 80 floors up, and they will never truly know what this man is doing just above their heads. You're back in Vegas.
I have... Burroughs has two main things that he would do. The first is he'll probably leave the casino, and what part of town is he in right now?
So you're just south of Strip, so you're maybe like a 10-minute walk from getting back in. I think you're on Dean Martin Way, which is like, okay. If you get to like, do you know where the Castle Casino is over by New York, basically at the bottom of the Strip?
I'm looking at the map now, trying to gauge myself. So I'm looking at Dean Martin Boulevard. Yes. Yeah.
So you're towards there. You're not far from the Strip. You normally live closer to Spring Valley, which is further south from the Strip. It's a little more local.
Yep.
It's to the side of the airport itself. John is not really sporting traditional digs whatsoever. I mean, from what you've told me, he's staying in motels and everything, right? What's his living situation?
I mean, his living situation is that pretty much every night it's somewhere else. He has enough of a social life with people that he cares about that he'll spend one night a week basically with these people. But he's wandering most of the time. So
he has a sort of rotation then, like he
Yeah.
maps out a different part of Vegas.
He's got it figured out where, once every day he moves a little farther and spends the night, at a different kind of suburb or area.
Well, leaving the casino, that same receptionist does come by, as if already hearing from the prince somehow, and gives you a room key for the night, as well as a card, blank, white, with just the credit card digits itself on the front. And it looks as though it's some sort of charge card you've been given as well for the night. Courtesy
Thanks,
of
man.
Grant.
I gotta run a couple errands, but I'll be back.
Absolutely, sir. Would you like anything prepared for your room for when you return?
No, it'll be fine. Thank you.
If you would like, we could prepare. And he looks a little shifty, making direct eye contact with you and then breaking it immediately. We could prepare dinner.
No, I can take care of my own dinner. Thank you.
Sure, absolutely, sure. And he looks almost nervous even to broach the subject and starts to scurry off back to his desk there.
I think that he would leave and he would head to kind of the eastern part of the town. Now that I know that the Anarchs are somewhat on the east side, I'm not going to really go looking for them. I'm really just going more for just the vibe, and I'm going to try to find a pawn shop near the east side of town I know sells quality jewelry and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and I'll find one. And I will purchase 2 rings. I'm going to purchase 2 gold rings. There's an attractive blue one that has a blue crystal on it. I'll put that on my pinky. And there's another one with a cross, kind of like a Russian cross on it. And he's going to buy that. And when he's buying them, he's thinking about Grant's ring, the prince's ring that he had to kiss. And he puts them on, and he just feels a little bit better. He doesn't haggle. He gives them what they're asking for. He pays for these rings, and he walks out, back into the night with some new rings.
Walking back out of that pawn shop, you catch yourself in the reflection of that door again, just like the elevator, but this time it's glinting off these 2 new gold rings that you just bought out of your own pocket. For a brief second, you're just caught looking at the way it cascades off your hand, the light that shines off of it, and that voice in that dead heart speaks up again. Kiss the ring. Oh, and it feels good. Damn it, it feels great.
I buy them and I do that thing that the character does in House of Cards, and knock on the table and make my way out and probably walk around the east side of town until I know it's time to pick up my girlfriend.
Got it.
And I'm just kind of seeing if I notice anybody that I feel that predator likeness with, and what the vibe is of the Anarchs, because I've never really interacted with the Anarchs much, so I'm aware of them, but I don't really know much about them.
Right. So you go searching. Does Burroughs drive, or is this sort of a stroll through town?
I don't think Burroughs has a car, right? Well, no, he does have a car. So yeah, I'll say that he's got some 1970s. I'll come back another day.
Like an Oldsmobile or something. I'm thinking very boxy.
Maybe a town car or something like that, yeah.
So you're cruising in this would-be town car, whatever it is. We'll fill this in later.
I think baby blue town car.
Ooh, nice little light blue. It's nearing midnight, and you know that Lydia gets off her shift around midnight. You think it was 12:30 tonight, but it's just enough time. You know that the best place to find the Anarchs, or at least the hottest spot for them, is over by Fremont Street. It's the northeast of Vegas, basically, off of the Strip. It's the second strip, they call it, the local strip. It's where, if you know the town and you don't have money, you go. You stay at the Golden Nugget. You pay $30 a night for a piece of shit roach room, and you stay on the Fremont Strip, and you watch street performers perform and homeless people shit in the streets in tandem, in perfect, beautiful harmony. And it does not take long rolling through that tough even on a Tuesday, there's traffic in Vegas because Vegas has no concept of anything other than this constant commerce that is running through this part of town. And Fremont still sees a lot of it. Fremont is the runoff of everything that the strip shits out, right? And you are driving straight through it, and every so often you'll drive past a part of town that feels like you do. And you start to feel like you're getting closer and closer to what you're looking for. Remind me, what disciplines are we working with Burroughs? What's
Burroughs has presence.
Okay.
And dominate.
Right.
And a little bit of animalism.
That's right. Okay, cool. Just wanted to be aware.
Yeah.
You pull up alongside an intersection, and there is this sort of chain link fence parking lot to what is obviously a really shitty dive bar. But it has one of those familiar rows of bikes out in front, with those long topped handlebars, and you know, obvious full-on biker club or riders club association right there out in the front. And you can see just out in front by the doors this very large, huge individual. And he's bouncing at the front of this door and letting in some others that are walking through with these motorcycle jackets on. And it says East Side Conquerors on their back. And emblazoned in the center is this skull with a boot cracking the forehead, basically. And that's their icon on the back there.
Nice.
And Burroughs gets a sense. He doesn't know what, but this is definitely something. It's a meaning.
Yeah, he's like kind of just cruising, just kind of driving around. He'll stop. He'll look at like you said, places that give him a vibe. He'll stick around and just watch. And certainly, you know, he's heard the Anarchs are meant to be, you know, more democratic, and yet they're called the Conquerors. He finds that kind of amusing.
Yeah.
Or at least this group, at least. I don't think he'll really engage with any of them. He's mostly just like dipping his toe into the water of experiencing the other side of vampire society.
Well, if he is looking for what is the other side, he's seen the arcade. If he's wondering what that other side of things, the whisper on the wind has always been Ellis Iverson. He's the one that everyone mentions. And that is one of the most popular barons of the free state of Las Vegas, basically, free state of Nevada, what they call themselves. He has always been the firebrand. And that thought would probably lead Burroughs straight through to Fremont Street, to the main thoroughfare, which is this big walking distance. If you've ever seen those big zip lines that they have in Vegas, that runs squarely over where we are now. It's this long walkway where every living person is drunk, and if you're not, you're in the wrong place. It reeks of piss in some locations, beer in others, and perfume in the last. You can see the full dredges of humanity. Prostitutes selling themselves a block away from people going into an M&M store. You have, you know, people who are obviously rolling around in parking lots selling drugs to each other. This long stretch of tourists that are trying to experience what Vegas is really like at 1 o'clock in the morning on Fremont Street and thinking that's really what they're getting. But there is a spot that you've heard of, that you remember HH talking specifically about this place. In his rambling tones, H has always told you that this was a place where movers and shakers made terrible deals over better people, as he puts it. It's a bar called the Belvedere. It's a 2-story sort of terraced bar that Fremont has these sections where it's almost like you walk up a set of stairs, and on the second floor you have buildings that go from both floors in, but they can only be accessed from that balcony. The Belvedere sits on the corner of that, that looks over all of Fremont, straight down to the zip lines, right under the lights. And you can see that there's these like full-on gas stove lighters that are shooting fire from the sides, like campfires almost. And this long terrace off the top that overlooks everything. It's like an outside drinking area off the balcony of Fremont Street. Obviously, one of the more expensive locations. And Burroughs knows this is the place. This is the Anarch home right here. This is where the movers and the shakers make bad deals with good people.
Definitely pocket that away in my mind of, you know, how to get here. And tempted to walk in, but he's going to resist. And instead, he'll probably walk around the area, kind of park the car, walk around a little bit. And I would imagine that somewhere nearby, there's probably like a get married chapel, like a, you know, it's one of those chapels. And
yeah, walk long enough and you will find a chapel in every part of Vegas.
And I think he probably comes to it and notices it and stops and sees the cross and is kind of just like staring at the cross for a little while.
You know what? I'll go as far as giving you this because I do have a chapel. You are out in front of the Lonely Hearts Chapel of Las Vegas, and there is a neon sign right outside of it. That cross itself is laced in this pink neon. That then flashes red. It's on this sort of fade into pink and red. And then the Lonely Hearts Chapel, its icon itself is a neon sign off the side as well. And it's a little broken heart that the neon puts it back together on these alternating steps, right? The pink heart turns into a full red and then back to the broken pink. So on and so forth. It looks completely dead. The lights are off in the lobby. If it is open, it must be on motion sensor and no one noticed that whatever it is. It doesn't look like the front door is gated or anything like that. A lot of Las Vegas properties will put up those door gates because you're in Vegas. But it looks like the door is ready. It just looks like an absolute ghost town of a place. And there's plenty of people walking by, drunks getting onto the next bar, and people going about their days. There's cars making traffic all over the place, but this place, it's haunted. It feels a little bit like you, Burroughs. By all means, this should be alive, but there's something about it inside that's just empty.
And that's probably why he lingers so long, is that there is some kind of weird vibe he's getting or a connection he's feeling, and you know, letting that pink and red light kind of wash over him. And I think he only really moves when some drunk tourists walk up and start taking selfies and photos, and he feels like he's in their way, and so he kind of just shuffles out of the way as they're making a big to-do, and I think he gets back to his car and goes to go pick up Lydia.
Yeah. It's a strange thing to see people who are so wholly obsessed with the good time that they're having as you're having this contemplation. And it's a feeling that every Las Vegas local has, but it's also a feeling that every monster has. You used to be that. You will never be that. That feeling is fleeting, and anytime you chase it, it's gone before you even think. And you ponder that as you get back into that town car and you drive off into Spring Valley where Lydia works. And you eventually arrive at a rundown grocery store in front of a strip mall in Spring Valley. It's called the Food to Buy, but the sign outside shutters occasionally. And the U and Y in Food to Buy has died to reveal the building's true identity, Food to Be. There's a single sedan parked outside, 20 years out of date with the world. Old windows that show you everything the place has to offer down its 4 aisles. You can see the whole fucking store from the outside. It's one of those joints. These really powerful like laundromat fluorescents that run the whole length of the store. And the store itself could probably function as a 2-bedroom apartment if you were really trying to zone Vegas out. Very small. Inside, the only living soul sharing its property, because obviously you don't count, is a 50-something with her red dye jobbed hair pulled back high against her scalp to reveal sparingly gray roots. She looks tired. She looks like someone who used to be beautiful, but the world took that away too. And she looks completely and utterly bored as fuck. She's standing motionless at the register as if she's not had a customer in ages, and she is watching the clock on the wall, standing like a bizarre picture, like a painting in a picture frame here, a tableau waiting for someone to notice, appreciate, and go, oh, that is quite sad, isn't it? But no, this is just her. This is your Lydia.
I've seen her do that before, and I hate to see her like that. So Burroughs will sneak into the quietly, go into the store, and he's going to go to where, they have those wall phones that you can make public announcements.
Yeah.
And he's going to jump onto it and just start very playfully, lovingly singing, "You are the dancing queen, young and sweet, only 17." And as soon as I do that, I would assume she kind of perks up and knows what is going on, because Burroughs often will kind of prank her or play these silly little jokes on her when he's picking her up.
The noise sends a jolt through her body, and she suddenly becomes a living thing. And she immediately blushes, this beet red on this old tanned face. She turns to you and she covers her mouth. She's like, "Oh my God, would you stop that? Stop! Oh my God!" She's blushing completely.
I hang up the phone and kind of start dancing my way towards her, continuing the song, eventually kind of connecting with her and like sweeping her up, even beyond her protests.
She plays
wooing her.
Meek and mild, but eventually plays into it, and we'll do a little tiny dance with you. She has never been the performer that you are, but every time you get into this mood, you can tell she's falling a little bit more in love with that personality. From the beginning, you have been a force in her life that she just completely lacked. No one ever made her laugh. No one ever made her smile. No one ever took the chance on making her feel anything like this. And so you can immediately feel that connection as she's staring up at you and laughing. She says, you're a little late.
Hey, I thought I was on time. I thought you said 12:30.
Oh, I said 12. I told you 3 times.
Oh, shit. I'm sorry, baby. I got a little swept up in things.
That's okay. I stayed open. I didn't know what to do. I figured if I'm here, I might as well keep the store open. So.
Well, you looked awfully pretty in that window, like a pretty little doll for me to buy.
Oh yeah, real Garbo. What did you think?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, what do you think? How about I take you home, stop by, get some fried chicken or something?
Oh,
we have ourselves a time tonight.
Fried chicken? It's not even Friday. What are you thinking, Burroughs?
Oh, I'm acting crazy tonight, baby.
Oh, you're always crazy. Okay. Yeah, let's do it. I think. All right,
why don't you close up shop? I'll be waiting in the car.
Sure. And she goes about going through the closing procedures as you watch her, this uniquely ordinary individual that only came into your life after you became what you are. And watching her close up is a weird sort of routine that brings you comfort in a way that the chapel couldn't. It warms whatever you have, whatever's left, whatever you're capable of, to see someone so normal.
Burroughs doesn't have a lot. He doesn't have a lot anymore. He used to have a lot, and so and a lot of it is purposefully. He's purposely living a kind of, he would say, humble, maybe kind of a minimalist life. Mm-hmm. And she's one of those. She's one of those luxuries. She's one of those things that he can call his own.
Yeah. She shuts the door and locks it. And then in a rare spur of performance, she turns around and mimics his little dance back to the car.
There's that go-go dancer I remember.
Well, maybe when I was younger. I don't know about now.
I don't know what you're talking about, baby. I think you still got him.
I don't think they let girls like me up on the stage without paying.
when she gets in the car, I probably grab her, like by her chin, and kind of make her look at me,
Uh-huh.
and I say, "I wouldn't be with you, baby, if I didn't think you were beautiful. You know that."
You're too much. And she looks genuinely swept up. And I think that you guys start to drive off in the direction.
Yeah.
She lives in a trailer suburb, which masquerades pretty well as a suburb of gated communities. There are a lot of them in Las Vegas where these mobile homes are just sort of masqueraded behind cement walls to act as though this is a real place to live. And they're sort of like more track houses than they are mobile homes. So it's not a bad place to live by any means, but it's a cheap place to live. And on the way, she sort of stops and looks at you, and you can tell she has something on her mind, and she thinks about saying it to you and completely stops before she can form the thought.
I know that look. What you got on your mind?
No, I don't want to burden you with something that you have to take care of every time I see you. I feel like every time we talk, it's something new to fix, and I don't want that for us.
I mean, I don't know what you mean, baby. What are you talking about?
It's Rick.
Rick,
and you
what's
know
he doing
Rick.
this time?
Rick has been this terrible upstart of a child for as long as you've been involved in this scene.
Child.
Yes, child is a loose term too for a 22-year-old man, but he definitely plays into that field. She looks at you and she says, he's been with the wrong crowd. He's been talking to the wrong people, and I think he's doing drugs.
Yeah, it's the same old. Didn't you say you were going to talk to him?
I tried talking to him, and he said he had it handled, and I thought that maybe he meant it this time. He promised that he was going to get better, that he didn't want to be like his dad, his piece of shit dad, but I don't know. I think it was all lip service just to get me to lay off him.
You know if he's home now?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, well, let's get home and...
You'll talk to him?
Yeah, maybe I'll talk to him, yeah.
Thank you, John.
I was kind of a rebel at his age too, so maybe I can find some common ground with him.
You were a rebel? I don't believe that for a minute. You've always been a sweetheart to me.
Yeah, well, you bring it out of me.
You know, it's been a year since I've known you.
Shit, he genuinely doesn't realize that, but doesn't make it too obvious because he doesn't want to come off like he's completely. It's more just like time has no purpose anymore for him, so he just stopped paying attention. But it's like, oh, in fact, I think he would probably play it down, and be like, oh yeah, hey, I was thinking maybe next week I can pick you up. We can go out drinking, dancing, something nice.
I would love that. I love that. I mean, I could take a day off and maybe we could make a whole day of it. We could go out somewhere. Maybe we could go see the Red Rocks.
Baby. I already told you. I'm busy during the day. I can only see you at night. You know my situation.
I know. Work can't let you off for just a day.
I'm not going to talk about it with you, okay? All you need to know is I'm going to pick you up next week. We're going to have a good time. No questions.
Go ahead and give me a manipulation, and I'll let you decide this. Is this manipulation and subterfuge because you're lying, or a manipulation and persuasion because you're abstaining from the truth?
Well, I'd like to say that I'm abstaining from the truth, although it really does feel like a subterfuge. I just have nothing. And wait, I do have a specialty in gaslighting under persuasion.
Let's gaslight, baby.
Let's gaslight her.
Session 1, we got a gaslighter.
Okay, so performance and manipulation, that's 4. Yeah. Here we go. Wow, that's actually a 10, so that's 1 success.
Okay, 1 success, that's all you need. She is adoring to you. She is under your thrall constantly, and I do not doubt that you have awe and inspired here to try and keep her.
Yes, I do have awe.
Good. Beautiful.
Oh, in fact, I forgot. So in that situation, could I have rolled an extra die?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Give me that
Just-
die right now.
Let's just see. Let's just see if I get another 10. That's 2 10s.
That's a crit, so that's
Yeah.
4 successes right there.
Nice.
She stops immediately and she says, I'm so sorry I asked. I know that's your one thing and you've told me so many times and I need to be better about that. I'm so sorry. I just thought no, forget what I thought. And
I just let her finish the thought, let her finish the understanding, and with a smile pull into the
you can feel a warmth of that fire in you, just like before. But whatever it is, the voice is pleased by what you just did. Moving in through the trailer park, Lydia gets out and she punches in the little digit code on the keypad outside, and the gate starts to move past. As you're pulling through and you take the first left in and you're moving to her little pink trailer track house that she bought years ago for herself when she thought she was only going to be there for a year and ended up there for 10. As you're pulling up into that parking spot, go ahead and give me a wit and awareness roll to see if you can discern anything about this location.
Sure. Nothing in awareness. So here we go with wits. That's 1 success with a 6.
Awesome. Okay. Just out of the corner of your eye. You don't catch it nearly as quick as you need it to, but you do get a flash as you see a body hurtling itself over the cinder block wall behind the track house itself. And it's a familiar form. It's the form of Rick, the 22-year-old son of your darling girlfriend, as he is throwing himself over the fence, halfway cascaded over the top, and you can see his pants are falling down around his underwear, that kind of pulling himself up, and he's trying to hitch these huge jeans that he's wearing over everything, and he's just barely pushed himself over, and you can see the white tank top he has is kind of sprawled up his back, and the hoodie he has is jangling off the side. He's desperately scrambling to get to the other side, and just as soon as you've seen it, he's on the other side.
So he's heading towards the trailer home.
Yeah. So you are parking. The trailer is
behind,
in front of you. Yeah. He's behind, ditching out to what is like an alleyway behind apartment complexes that then leads to a main street.
Okay, so I think I would tell Lydia, baby, go inside. I think I heard something like, just trying to get her inside.
She's panicked. She asks you what's going on, but complies. She goes inside.
Yeah. I have a small, I think I've got an old flip phone that I think I probably turn on as soon as I make the corner.
Okay.
Just say something like, VPD, let me see your hands, man.
Okay. All right. Let's get a roll to discern if you can catch up with him just in time to get to him. Let's do athletics, which I'm sure Burroughs is just full of athletics with his form.
No athletics.
Athletics and dexterity. Or if you don't have athletics, let's take dexterity and we'll give you a dex and stam.
Dex and stam. Okay, that's a little better. Let's see what I can do with 4. Here we go. There we go. That's 3 successes.
Okay, 3 successes. You pull around, you whip out the phone and everything, you flash it in his direction. Give me a intimidation and manipulation to decide whether he complies. As you turn around, you can see he's kind of jumbling up his pants and he's starting to move past on the other side himself. It looks like he's pursuing something as you're pulling around and pulling this cop routine.
Okay, I come around the corner. I rolled 2 5s, so that's 2 failures. I think he probably could tell who it is or something,
He's like, what the fuck, Gramps? And he keeps running straight down the alleyway. You can see him starting to take off. And it's just as you round this corner, as he doesn't stop for you, that you realize what he's chasing after. There is an individual cast under these like back porch lightings that run this alleyway behind these apartment complexes. 4 apartment complexes, 2 on either side. So you've got a long stretch of alleyway that acts almost like a street, but then empties out into an actual main intersection. But he is chasing an individual much taller than him, maybe 6'3", beefy looking fucker. Big muscles, a shirt with the arms sort of ripped off at the hinges. Think like workout shirt.
No sleeves.
Yeah, red down the shirt itself with a sort of a graphic on the back. These jeans that are pulled up high, sneakers, and then in his back pocket is a black bandana, full solid black, with white lettering that spells FUC. So fuck is running away.
Yeah.
He's got a plastic bag in one hand. He's laughing at Rick behind him as he runs away.
I'd like to, knowing that this guy is, if Ricky actually catches up with him, is going to totally get his ass kicked. I'm looking out more for Lydia than anything. I'm going to use my dominate ability. I'm going to use compel.
Okay.
To call out to Rick and just say stop. It's a charisma plus dominate versus intelligence plus resolve roll.
Okay. All right, let's go for it. So you go ahead and roll your pool. I'll roll Ricky's.
So
Terrible
charisma and dominate.
pool.
I've got charisma. Okay, so here we go. That's
What do I have? It's intelligence and what was that?
And resolve.
Okay. Well, yeah. Rick's not going to do too well there. I don't even know if I should roll.
3 successes, a 6, a 7, and a 10.
It's near unfailable here. Rick is a very small-minded individual, and the beast basically reaches out and grabs him. How does this compel form itself on Burroughs? What does this moment look like?
I think that, the street is lined with like street lamps, and I think they do up to Ricky, they suddenly like cut out, and his voice, like an echo, like if it's in a cave, kind of reaches him, and he just is paralyzed by it. Right. And as I walk up to him, the lights slowly, come on again.
I love that.
I would put my hand on shoulder.
Does it say if compel requires a rouse check? Let's check that as well.
I didn't see anything about that. Okay. Cost is free. Duration no more than a single scene.
Cost is free. Okay, yeah. So if the cost had said rouse check, it would decide whether you're hungry or not. But you have him. You grip him, and the fear in his face is palpable. He turns around, looking at you as though he's just heard the word of God itself, staring at you, dumbfounded, his muscles completely relaxed, and his body turns completely still as he lets the other the fuck run away. He does turn around, that gentleman with the plastic bag, and he shouts back at you, yeah, that's right, fuck you, punk ass bitch, this shit is mine. And he turns the corner and runs completely out. Rick is dumbfounded, staring at you, completely motionless, has not made a sound.
Your mom was worried about you, Ricky. Let's get back to the trailer park, and I'll put a hand on his shoulder and like start kind of moving him in that direction.
Man, that was no. Oh shit, man, no.
What were you in such a hurry for? What was that about?
That fucker took every dollar we had, man. Oh shit, mom's gonna kill me, man.
Hey, what do you mean every dollar? What'd you do?
Oh shit, man, I was just trying to bum some, man. I had a little money, but fuck, mom keeps a drawer in her room, and I just thought I'd pay it back after my shift, but fuck, dude, he took all of it, man. He ran the whole fucking room. Oh shit.
You took your mama's money?
Yeah.
Anybody ever tell you that's a stupid thing to do?
Well, fuck, dude. Yeah, I had a thought, but you don't fucking get it, man. You don't get it. You don't.
No. You don't get it, man. What you don't understand is you're driving your mama crazy. Okay, she's trying to be a good woman, trying to have a good life, and you're wasting her money, wasting her time. What about finding that apartment, huh? What about moving out?
Fuck, man, I don't know. Rent's fucking crazy. It's Las Vegas. Get off my ass. Who the fuck are you, dude? You just lost me like $600, man.
I'm someone who can make you lose a lot more if you don't start taking care of your mom a little bit better. All right?
He looks visibly touched by that. Something in your face, something in the fire that's starting to build in you.
Yeah.
And he's starting to connect the two ideas of fully losing his sprint. He's going, look, man, I don't want whatever the fuck you want with my mom, okay? I didn't sign up for this shit. You two can do whatever the fuck you want, but leave
I'm gonna
me
grab
out.
him by the neck and just be like, "That's right. We are gonna do whatever the fuck we want. So tonight, you're gonna be a good little boy. You're gonna go inside. You're gonna have some fried chicken with me and your mama, and then you're gonna find a fucking way out of here, okay? You're gonna find an apartment tomorrow. You hear me?"
Is this a part of your dominate? Or is this unabated? This is just intimidation. Is this something that you're trying to call out to with the beast? Or is this something just raw off of who Burroughs is?
I think it's kind of more who Burroughs is. Like, he's having a hard time distinguishing the two because right now he's already made up his mind about what he's going to do about Ricky.
Yeah.
Right now he's just trying to get this idiot to dinner to put a smile on her face so that when she goes to bed, she thinks things are going to be okay for a little bit. That's all he wants to do.
Okay. He looks visibly shaken by whatever you're doing to him. And he stops and he rears back for a second. And then he holds himself. He pulls his fist down. He stares at you. He says, "Look, man, I don't know who the fuck you are, but fine, fuck it, whatever."
I'll let him go and suddenly be his best friend, you know, kind of laughing and joking, and we'll lead him back into the trailer park. And so, look who I found! The prodigal son returns.
Lydia smiles and instantly becomes the mother you always know she is, which is a giant pushover. Mm-hmm. She comes over and she hugs Rick and says, "Oh, how was your day?" And she starts checking in with him and everything, completely oblivious to this lost money. Rick is evading completely in the conversation. "I was fine, Mom. Get off me. It's fine. I'm gonna have dinner with you guys and then go to sleep because I got work in the morning." And he takes a look at you, direct eye contact with you, and I've got a few apartments I'm going to take a look at tomorrow. So, and Lydia looks overjoyed. "Oh my God, oh my God." She's, adoring her son as if the slightest amount of effort has improved her mood entirely.
Right. I think we'd have dinner.
Yeah.
Eventually Ricky excuses himself. I probably, watch an old movie with Lydia, and then
Lydia falls asleep on the couch in a layer of blankets that you leave her on there.
A part of him is relieved because although he likes making love to her, he's also like, as the years go on, as a kindred, it stops having the same kind of pleasure. He has to kind of force himself. I'm interpreting that lush,
yes.
that ability to like touch things and stuff.
The blush of life.
The blush of life. Yeah. So it's like he almost has to like rouse it in himself.
Yes.
But so when she's asleep, he's kind of relieved by it. He brings her to the bed. He knows that he's only got another hour or two before sunrise, but he will go to Ricky's room and he will drain Ricky of enough blood that I know that he will wake up in the morning feeling like complete shit. This is how I punish him.
Right. You appear in the threshold of his room. It's dingy. It's got a band poster on the front door there. It's half cracked open. You always know that it is.
I like to think he's a juggalo. He likes ICP.
We are going for the exact same vibe here. He is 100%.
Yeah.
He's probably got like a pair of Jinko jeans and a fucking the axe murderer poster on the front of his door, right? He's probably got the tattoo of it right here on his right bicep. A present for his 18th birthday. So you are in the juggalo's threshold. Mm-hmm. And you can see him in there. He's passed out. You can smell weed.
Yeah.
But he goes for the harder stuff too. This because I think you've been here before, haven't you?
Yes, absolutely. As I kneel down to get close to his neck, I kind of whisper to myself, "Lord, forgive him. He does not know what he do or what he does," and then I will partake. I'll taste him.
Do you think that Burroughs is a particularly stealthy individual?
Not really, no.
Okay. Do you think that maybe some heavy footfalls in a track house may cause some stirring in the sleep of a young individual. He is
Could.
heavily drugged, but it could.
Could.
Go ahead and give me a very light stealth and dexterity roll.
Okay. Let's see. That is one success.
Okay, one success is enough. He blinks open for just a moment,
Yeah, probably isn't
As if-
praying over him.
awaking from a dream, and stares off at the wall itself, and you know that if you don't strike now, there's no telling what could happen if he sees you. And so your big hands clasp onto the jaw and the shoulder. You pull him back. What does this look like?
First word that came to my head was communion, but
Yeah.
it feels like that. It's he. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the bite of a kindred actually feels kind of good to people.
It
So
is.
I think at first he's scared, but then it's kind of like, when you get that hit of heroin into the veins, there's
Yes, it's
calmness.
very close to his hard drugs to begin with. The bite itself stirs, but as soon as your essence mingles with his, it is like the numbness that a spider gives its prey, or the mosquito when it drinks of its blood. You give him pleasure that is almost like too much to handle for many people. It's intoxicating in your case. In fact, Ricky will be bidden to you and your existence because of that lingering kiss that you possess, Burroughs. And as you dig in, he finally rests and falls back asleep in your arms as you drain him of near every drop that he has. You are practiced. You're a cleaver. You are the worst of the worst when it comes to consuming. You possess the people that you love and use them like tools to get what you need. But that means that you're a very practiced individual when it comes to dinner time. And just like you told the receptionist, you can get your own. And you sit there and sip deep of this man. His resonance is very choleric. He tastes acidic in nature, but it's good. It's warm. And that's something you almost never feel as it drips through your body, as it fills you. As you can feel that voice in your head start to dim as you take from him.
Lydia tastes better, but I'm doing this to make a point to him, to punish him. And I view what I do as a cleaver as the right thing to do. I'm not hurting random innocent people. I'm being very selective, and so when I feed, I don't feel guilty about it. It feels like at least I'm doing it to the people that trust me, that I trust. Nobody's getting hurt in the long run. It's just a little bit of loss of blood,
It's just a little off the top.
Little
Who could
off the
ever be
top.
harmed?
Yeah, and I think I finish him and wipe my mouth, and I'll probably get out of there, head back to the hotel as soon as possible.
Right. As you're leaving the room itself, you again find another mirror, and you can see the glint off your gold rings with Rick's body in the corner of the room, now near comatose. And you get a good picture of yourself in the dribble of blood that's leaning from your corners, Burroughs, and you can see yourself again, changed, full of those rings, but also full of whatever makes Rick Rick. You get out into your town car, drive across town as the last dying vestiges of night head in the other direction as the sun threatens on the other side. You've always liked beating the dawn before. Maybe it's something about being a Ravnos. Maybe it's something about being a wanderer, a vagabond. But maybe it's also just something about being Burroughs. But you like the idea that you've only got minutes to live. And you fly back to the arcade. You fly back into that lobby. And you're standing right there under the gold with
That's
your
where I
new
started.
rings. Just where you started.
Just with some rings now, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that we can end Burroughs' origin story right there, my friend.
What a great first session, man. That was
I
awesome.
know. Yeah, it was such a good time. I hope that everyone else got a chance to enjoy it, and I'm so excited for everyone to see what Sergio has planned, because boy, do we have stuff planned. And Burroughs is just an incredible character, man.
I had so much fun running it. I was worried about how I'd start, but I just fell right into it. It feels great.
I was really worried too. I was like, I don't know how this one-on-one's gonna go. It's like the first intro to the world. Like,
Right,
so
right.
I think it went really well once we got into our groove. But
Can't wait till we're all 8 together.
I know July 2nd, we are
That's
going to
right.
be all together for our first real stream to see exactly the scenario that the prince is sort of ushered out for you.
Amazing.
So we'll see how that goes. We're also going to have origin episodes for each member of the coterie to give them an example, just like we did Burroughs. So everyone gets a vibe like this. Those will be coming out on our Patreon, the same that this one is. I don't know if they're going to come out all together or
Probably
periodically.
release them one at a time.
Yeah, that
Yep.
way we can all give them the focus they deserve.
Well, thanks, Caleb. It was a great time.
Yeah, thank you, man. I'm so happy we could do this. It was a
All
great
right.
one.
Bye.
Bye.